Okay, we're early, Leonard. Early. We're early.
We want to make sure that the sound is good, not like last week. So appreciate if anybody in the chat room, Jay, Chris, or any would tell us if the sound is good. All right. Last week we know the sound was not good, so there you go. Let's hear the sound, and then we'll get started.
I think you sound like crap. Oh, it's someone's turn. Hey, is it your turn or mine?
I have no idea. Do you think I sound like crap, really?
I'm just joking.
Oh, gee. Is it someone's turn?
It's my turn.
Oh,
okay, I'm going to go.
Yeah, your turn. Who are you picking? All right. So you still want to start the show, or you want to let me start it?
I already started it. I don't know what you're waiting for.
You didn't start nothing. You got to say, welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome aboard. That's right, the lady and the legend. And some of you may wonder, why are they still doing this nonsense? All right. Yeah. I mean, I can understand doing it on Sirius Radio when you get paid. We're not getting paid. We're doing it because the labor of love, right? Now, let's get that straightened out. It's not. What is that about?
That's me again. It's my turn again.
Come on. Are you kidding me?
What?
It's a labor of love, but not exactly for the two participants in this show. It's a labor of love for baseball, a labor of love for the chat room, and that's what we do. Okay, so welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Sunday morning, and there's a lot to say with the New York Mets finding out once again that they lost Lindor. He's on the injured list. Now, Jake DeGrom, and I'm sure you've all heard this before, but he was doing a throwing session, and he had to stop. And I will tell you right now, it is beyond belief that they don't put him on the injured list and just let it go. You know, you gotta. What are they? I know they're in first place. They're falling apart. They're losing to the Pirates. They feel a need to have DeGrom, but at the risk of losing him for the season. I don't know. What do you think, Andy?
I think you sound like a disgruntled Mets fan.
No, I'm not. I'm a baseball fan. Good morning to Colombo. That's Amore is here. Kyle Amore has joined us. Good morning, Kyle.
Well, you should have been prepared for this because I told you several weeks ago that this was going to happen.
All right. Chris Gallo says there's no sound yet.
He needs to put it on the video.
Are we on video?
Yes, it's the video.
You didn't tell me we're on video.
Well, we're not on video. Don't touch it. Just don't touch it. We don't have the video going. We're on StreamYard, though. They have to watch on the video. Spreaker doesn't work. God, Lenny, just do what you're doing. You're fine. Please don't mess with anything.
Yeah, but I would like the people in the chat room to know what to do. How are they supposed to know what to do?
I just figured that they knew. I'm sorry.
Well, all right. Good morning, everybody.
Why don't you quit worrying about them and worry about the show that we're doing right now?
I'm worried about having people listen to what we say.
I can't stand you.
What's the point of doing it? All right, so go up to the upper right-hand corner, click on what you. What are they?
They can't hear you if they don't know how to do it. So I already told them in the chat room how to do it. If they don't have an idea how to do it, how do you think they can hear what you're saying right now?
Unbelievable.
Just don't worry about it, please. It's my job to take care of it. Everybody's fine. You wreck the whole first part of the show every single day.
It's your job to take care of it.
It is taken care of. So
that's why nobody knew what to do.
You're the only one that doesn't know what to do.
Okay. So do you think the Mets have an obligation to Jake DeGrom to put him on the injured list for now?
Yes, I told you that. He has forearm tightness. His MRI came back without any structural problems. I know that for sure, but he's dealt with several injuries this year. And if he doesn't, I just feel like, in my personal opinion, of course, I'm not a doctor, but I'm probably as good as any Mets doctor, really, because they stink.
Well, okay. Now, can you hear me now? All right. Now, here's the deal. If you have Jake DeGrom on your fantasy baseball team, would you market him and try to trade him right now?
Absolutely. But he's not tradable right now. I don't know if I would because I can't. You cannot trade Jacob deGrom at this moment. I told you to trade him a couple weeks ago. If you didn't do it, you're stuck with him until he has another good outing or two. You can't just go trade a guy right now like this. He's hurt. Everybody knows it. Nobody's going to be paying what he's worth. You need to keep him for a moment till he has a better outing or two.
Well, how about the fact that somebody drafted him?
Well, people drafted Mike Trout too, and very early. So
Yeah. All right. What about now with Acuna? What's his name?
Acuna. Yeah.
Should you trade? If you're in a keeper league, do you trade Acuna? Acuna. How do you pronounce his name? Acuna. Do you trade Acuna if you're in a keeper league? That means next year you're not going to have him, but you may be able to get the moving parts that you need to win this year.
If I'm trying to win this year, I might consider it, but I doubt it. I doubt I would do that. I wouldn't even think of it really because I don't think that you should ever trade a player like this while he's hurt or at his lowest value. I might buy him if I was in a keeper league. I might purchase him from somebody. I'd be the guy getting him, though, not trading him away.
Okay, now here's the other thing about Acuna. He may not even be ready for next year. So if you're thinking he's got that torn ACL, which he suffered last weekend, it's a game changer. Okay, you can't replace him. Trade him to a rebuilding team for a big haul.
Why wouldn't he be ready for next year with the ACL?
His knee injury is so severe, his status for opening day 2022 is in question.
No, that I don't care. There's no injury due to a knee that could take that long to heal.
Okay, so you're going to go against with
Did he
some
have
of the
surgery?
doctors.
Yeah, I am.
His knee injury is so severe, his status is in question. He's not ruled out yet.
I don't know where you're getting your information.
I'm getting my information from smarter people than you. Buster only.
You keep
Buster only.
Buster only. Doctor?
Who also says that
is he a doctor?
No, are you?
I'm just asking if you think he's so much smarter than me. Is he a doctor?
He is, because he's talking to the right people. You don't. You talk to me.
Please. You don't think that I could? We can all have access to information these days, Leonard. We all know what's going on.
Except you. Now, the Major League Baseball trading deadline is 2 weeks away. Okay? And I thought that the number one player to be traded would have been Jose Berrios, right? But Buster Only, once again, is reporting. ESPN Buster Only says the Minnesota Twins are letting people know they are not inclined to consider moving players under contractual control through 2022. That means that Jose Berrios, who makes a lot of sense to the Mets now, wouldn't be available as he has another year left on his deal before hitting free agency in 2023.
Okay, now, it's 7 to 9 months for a recovery on the ankle or the ACL tear. 7 to 9 months.
Okay. So his availability for opening day is in question.
Okay, whatever.
It doesn't mean it's going to.
Everything's in question. Months. Are we going to even be living? That's in question. Are we going to? Is COVID going to make it so we don't have baseball? That's in question. Are we going to have a lockout? That's in question. Everything's in question.
So, do you think the Minnesota Twins are just posturing by saying that they're not going to trade Berrios to anybody who has
no? I don't think
contract through 2022.
I don't think they're posturing. I absolutely think they're going to try to. I think they're going to try to maybe make an offer to Berrios, but he's not available yet. And maybe, just maybe, if they get the right offer, they will do it. Like anybody will do it if they get the right offer. That's what it comes down to. But the thing is that they don't have to be in a hurry, and they can wait until the off season where they could have a lot more time to talk to other teams and have more interest. They don't have to sell him right now. And I think that they're going to wait for a proper offer because they're not in any rush.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure that you felt that way. Do I have sound?
Just wanted to make sure that you have sound.
I have sound. The people in the chat room have sound.
Believe me, everybody has sound, Leonard.
Okay, just wanted to make sure everybody's got sound. All right, now.
Good morning, Anthony D.B. Miller.
Anthony
Good morning,
D.B.
Douglas.
Look,
Colombo.
Laura is in the chat room.
Yes, Dawn. My best friend's name is Dawn.
Yeah, but my best friend is Laura DiChiara, who actually wrote another letter. She's a letter writer.
Oh, that's so nice. Is that who this is here in the chat?
That's right. That's
So
Laura.
nice. I loved it. Thanks so
right.
much for that. That was very thoughtful and nice. Okay.
Yes, it was. Now, here's the deal.
I love it when girls listen to our show, number one.
She's more than a girl. She's a woman. A beautiful woman. She's Whatever. A baseball fan. She's the real deal. Anyway.
Right, but the fact that we have female listeners, okay, that says something.
It says something about me, okay?
No, it says something about me. You like anybody with boobs.
Now, if it was TV, would there be female listeners trying to watch me?
No.
I don't think so either. Anyway, Southpaw is here. Good morning to Southpaw.
Hi, Southpaw.
Here's the question for you. It seemed that the home run derby was more popular than the All-Star game. Do you think that there's something wrong with baseball?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Do you think that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot wrong with baseball.
Hold on a second.
The fact that they stole
Hello.
The game from Atlanta. That's number one.
We're on the air.
That's a problem. They had more viewers. Yeah. They say they have more viewers, but they had less households. Actually, it was an all-time low for ratings on TV. It was
it was better than any other All-Star.
It depends on how you look at it. There's several ways to look at this. I looked into this because I was very interested and kind of intrigued about this because in 2018 was the last time it hit a record low for TV ratings. It was a 5. Okay, now this one was a 4.5, and I am surprised that it's a record low for TV ratings, which is based on the number of TVs that are tuned into the game, not the number of people watching, but the number of television sets on that game. The other thing, though, is that it actually had more people watching than it did ever. And that's because of all the other ways to watch, I think, because you don't just watch on your TV. You can watch on your I guess you could watch, you're not using cable. I don't know. Maybe the TV ratings apparently the TV ratings don't include the number of people watching. It just includes the number of televisions in houses that are tuned into it. Okay, whatever that means. But I'm surprised that many people watched. Did you, I thought it was a great home run derby, though, I have to say. I thought I was very entertained. Maybe that was because I had like 2 or 3 martinis beforehand. Maybe that was why.
Yeah, that could be.
But it was great to me. I liked it. I didn't see the All-Star game because we were driving.
Yeah, I still think the best home run derby were the ones that were filmed in the 50s at Wrigley. Yeah, at Wrigley Field in LA. Where
we used to have them. We used to have those on the website, all of them.
Yes, we do. We should probably put them up there again.
Yeah, we should. Definitely.
With a grand prize. Go ahead, you could speak.
You can see the games on YouTube, the Home Run Derby television show, the very beginning it was so cool. I'm sorry, I'm done.
You're never done. You should be done. You're well done.
I can absolutely just mute you for the rest of the show if I wanted to.
Okay, here's the deal. We will be posting all the home run derbies. Okay, how about if we do that?
You mean I will?
You will be posting on the site. We will have the home run derbies, and that's when the players got $500 to win. And do you know who had the most wins in the home run derbies?
Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron. That's why all the players wore number 44.
Well, they were supposed to be doing a tribute to him in Atlanta, where he belongs.
Leave politics out. That's what Jay Stubbs says.
Well, they just ruined it for Hank Aaron, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. Now, since the memo by the went out on June 3rd about the sticky substances.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, batting average before the memo went out on June 3rd was 236.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get to something now. I really like the chat room
How
to
long is it going to
contribute
take you?
their opinion. The
Okay.
batting average was 236. The batting average now, after the All-Star game, was 246.
It always goes higher. Okay.
Okay.
This time.
OPS was 707 before, 736 since. So here's my proposal. With Major League Baseball doing all the bull dinky and poppycock, doing all the stuff, trying to get more action into the game, all they're doing is making more home runs. All they're doing is making it boring. Here's what I think we should do.
Oh,
Baseball, if they're willing, want to make a change, they should look at the National Football League. Now, hear me out for a
oh
second.
gosh, no.
Baseball should put their best defenders in the field. The best. Forget about hitting. Christian Pache for Atlanta. He's in the minor leagues. He's probably, arguably,
So what are you trying to accomplish with this?
quiet!
Less hits?
He's arguably one of the best defensive outfielders in Major League Baseball.
Buxton will run circles around him.
Will you please be quiet? I'll finish it and you won't have any idea what I'm saying.
I wish you would hurry up.
They should have a defensive team with their best defensive players on the field, every position, and an offensive team with the best offensive players. So they would have 9 DHs and 9 defensive players.
I say that there has to be enough people in the world that can play both offense and defense if they're going to get paid all that money.
Well, some teams may not. Some teams may not use 9 and 9, but at least that's the parameter. You could have 9 defensive players and 9 offensive players. That's what football does. You don't see Tom Brady playing quarterback, do you? Cornerback. He don't play linebacker. He's a quarterback, right?
Right, Lenny.
Should Major League Baseball?
That's not the game, though. The game is not. If soccer, what do? They have everybody playing all the same time too. So what do you want to do? You want
football is
not the guy to be looking for as a role model. Okay.
Why? It's the most popular sport in this country right now.
No, it isn't. That's a lie. It's
what
absolutely losing. It is horrible sport. It is a horrible league. It is run horribly. The players are treated horribly. It is not the role model.
The players are treated horribly?
Hockey is the role model.
What about the minor league players in baseball who don't even have enough money to live?
Absolutely unacceptable too. Totally. And I don't agree with that. But NFL is not the guy to look to for direction in life, okay?
Anybody in the chat room think it would be a good idea?
How are they going to pay all these people, by the way?
They got plenty of money to pay.
Well, the owners don't like to pay people.
How many think it's a good idea to have your best defensive players and your best hitters?
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think that the defense is getting worse in baseball over the years?
I don't know, but I think it would make for a very exciting game. No shifts, but you can have your best defensive players on the field.
No shifts, huh? You're a fan of no shift. I say this. If you can't deal with the shift, then hit the ball to the other side of the park.
Okay, but people aren't doing that.
Well, I could do it, so they could do it.
Okay. Now,
you just have to turn your body, Leonard.
There's been a lot of bull dinky and poppycock about the home run hitting contest, as we talked about before.
I like it.
Many think that any player participating in the home run derby is going to have his home runs his home run rate down. Okay.
Not true.
Now, Pete Alonso, when he won the 2019 event, saw his at bat to home runs spike from 10.8 to 11.8.
Oh,
that's
good.
Not good. That's
no,
not
wait,
good.
It increased his home runs?
His at bats went from a home run for every 10.8 to a home run to every 11.8.
Big deal. It's one bat.
Okay.
One bat.
It's like that for a lot of them. Todd Frazier, when he was in it, went from 13%, 13 to 27. Okay. Giancarlo Stanton went from 13 to 19.
Yeah, because he's probably hurt half the time.
So. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, went from 14 to 20. Okay, so
Okay.
it's been pretty good, but there are certain players who who have been slumping, and I'm talking about Soto, who could have a tremendous years. He slugged 2 home runs his first game back, but if you
Right.
remember, um, he was having a hard time. He hit by hitting too many ground balls. He
Okay.
couldn't get his swing going. So
Right.
there are some players who participated,
Maybe it helped
okay,
him.
um, that may have helped him. Okay,
Yeah, maybe.
some players that it may have
Yeah,
helped.
I mean, I'm wondering, we're always talking about how the home run derby and how it is negative effects on these hitters, but those are only the negative ones, but do we ever look at the people that actually do participate in the home run derby that come back and have a great second half? Are we not looking at those too, or we're
Well,
just paying attention to the ones that do bad?
I just went ahead and told you that.
Okay, let's move on. Move on.
Hold on a second. I'm
Oh, you're
trying to
so
talk.
annoying.
You don't let me talk.
You've already said it. I'm ready to move on from that.
Anybody registering, waiting for an activation, you're getting it right now. Okay.
Oh, that's what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
I
trying
wanted
to
to
do.
talk for a second about this
Yeah, go ahead.
shooting last night outside of the Nationals Park.
But
Shooting.
don't get into politics.
Why would politics have anything to do with this?
All right, you can. All right, let's hear what you have to say.
Don't ever tell me what to say or what to do, okay? I thought we have this clear. I
Go
thought we
ahead.
understand this. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it was the 6th inning yesterday. You could actually some of the tweets that were out, you could hear the gunshots outside of Nationals Park. Apparently 3 people got shot, none of them died. So that's good, but the people just can you imagine the feeling? Like there were some people trying to get under their seats. I can't even imagine trying to fit under a freaking stadium seat. Can you even imagine getting under there? Like what? Where do you there's no I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me at all. Can you imagine getting under the seat at a baseball park?
You getting under a seat?
What about yourself? I mean, you don't have to
I
worry about
wasn't
me.
talking about it. I haven't talked about it.
Lenny, you would just sit there. You'd be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bother.
So,
Okay.
do you remember the one distinct thing about Nationals Park when we went there that I remember? Well, two. I remember the huge, like 1 foot margaritas that they have. It reminds you of being in Las Vegas. The other thing I remember is that they only really had one entrance and one exit. Do you remember trying to leave that place?
Oh yeah, it was a madhouse. The only thing I remember about Nationals Park, and this is a smart thing, when you went to the bathrooms or you went up to get a
Yeah,
drink,
they made you wait.
they wouldn't let you back into your seat until the inning was over.
Or until there was an in between batters.
I think it was the inning had to be
No,
over.
Lenny,
Okay?
it's not the inning. They don't imagine how many people will be waiting to get to their chairs if they couldn't get back in the inning. It's just the batters. When the batter gets on base or gets a hit or gets a strikeout or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but they do definitely be strict about that. And I also now remember that one little guy that we met that was he was a handicapped, but he was the guy doing the ushering. They actually have real ushers. That's my point. They're like real ushers there. So moving on, everybody's okay in that shooting, but they're actually going to finish that game today. Okay, before they play their scheduled game today. So they were in the 6th inning. They're going to finish the last 3 innings, and then they're going to play their second game. Is that weird to you?
I think that's a little crazy.
At what point do they call a game and say, okay, like they called the Yankees Red Sox game last night?
Yeah.
Some fan so Verdugo is throwing a ball to a young kid in the stands, a fan, okay? Yankee fan intercepts it and hucks it at Verdugo's back. It was horrible. They called the game for rain, but the game was delayed like all this time, and even though it wasn't raining at all, it was still delayed. There was no tarp on the field, right? I would be that's just like, what the hell? You're going to delay the game for like an hour or so, 2 hours maybe, and there's no tarp and there's no rain. But then they start playing and it started raining. And they ended up calling that game. So I wonder at what point do they call a game and say, we're not going to play the last couple. I mean, hello, do you know what I'm asking, Leonard?
I don't even listen to what you say.
How many innings does a game have to be played for them to be able to call the game as a win or a loss for one team?
It's got to be 7 innings.
Okay. So this game with the Nationals and the Padres only made it to 6 innings, and people were running out. And the guy on the announcer was like, "Stay in the park," and that's the best place to be for sure, unless the shooter's in the park, which nobody really knew where the shooter was. So
Yeah,
okay,
not a good night for baseball. And also, did you see what Kiki Hernandez said about
no,
the All-Star game?
I didn't.
Red Sox and the Yankees were scheduled to play. The only team scheduled to play on a Thursday
Yes.
after the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now he was very vocal about his displeasure with the shortened All Star break for the Red Sox and the Yankees. And he
Oh,
mentioned how the Red Sox were one of the two teams that did not receive 4 days off. And he wasn't even an All Star. Okay. He feels that
he's just
they're.
mad.
All right, go ahead. You
He's.
talk about it then.
I think he's mad. Go ahead. He's jealous because he was left out.
28 teams get 4 days off and two teams that don't. So he was very vocal. But as
Oh,
Jerry
that's
Remy
so.
pointed out
This is
to
sweet.
Kiki, in, you can't say that in Boston, okay? You can't have a city of Boston that values grit, hard work. You can't say that we don't have enough days off, okay? Those comments probably will not resonate well with many of the fans and the
No,
people of the town of Boston,
not
okay?
at all. Hello. That's as bad as saying it to any fans, though. I'm sorry. It's hard for the normal person, the normal civilian, okay, like us, to have any kind of sympathy for a player who they get 2 days off every week, anyways, no matter what. It's not like I mean, sometimes they play more games, so I won't say that. But seriously, how hard is their job, really? And people, they say, "Oh, I can't fly out to the All-Star game and be a part of that because I need to spend time with my wife." What? Holy moly.
We've
What
got
about the
Chris.
off season? Do you ever
All
see your
right.
wife
Well,
in the
I won't say a word.
obviously you
Crystal
see.
ball's knocking on the door. I
All
won't
right.
let her in.
Why
Sorry,
not? You aren't you ready to get rid of me?
but was I ready to get rid of you?
Yeah, the quicker the better, right? Because you
Go
don't like
ahead.
me. You
Anything
go
else you
ahead,
have to
kid.
say?
You go ahead.
Okay. The Mets
I
and
have
the
lots.
Yankees. Well, go ahead. The Mets and the Yankees. They both have the same amount of wins, but the Mets are one game better than the Yankees, but lead
They
the
don't
East
have the
by
same.
two and yeah.
How, they haven't played as many games because they got some postponed at the
The Mets
beginning.
with the same amount of wins, they lead the National League by 2.5. The Yankees are in fourth in the American League East, 8 games back. It really depends on what division you're in,
The
right?
Yankees are not good this year at all.
All right, you want to bring in Crystal Ball right now?
I don't know.
What does Crystal Ball want to wait?
If she's here knocking, you should probably let her in because that's a
I
nice thing
let
to
her in.
do for
She's in the
somebody.
waiting room. I wouldn't let her wait outside. It's
There's no
raining,
waiting room at this house.
here in New York. Okay.
Let me tell you something.
All right. You want a crystal ball or no?
Let's look at the run differential real quick for the Yankees and the Mets. And you can start to see the run differential averaging out, stabilizing, okay, this time of season.
Yes.
Let's talk also about our drafts that we're doing. We're in the second half league, and I tried to start the drafts early yesterday to get a head start, and I mean, you can't be annoyed at anybody because the draft was scheduled for 8 o'clock last night, but I was trying to get it going at 8 o'clock in the morning. And oh my goodness, it was not good. We only got like a couple picks, but that's okay. We're doing it now. I'm going to, if for anybody that's in either one of these leagues with us, we are going to reduce the time for draft picks to 1 hour sometime today, depending on how quick we can get this thing going. I think, like, I know there's a couple people on the West Coast, so it's still really early in the morning, but once we get the groove going, we really need to get these drafts hammered out. I'm going pitching, all pitching. That's my goal.
So
Maybe
far,
I should do one league
go ahead.
pitching.
I won't
And,
say a word. Go ahead.
well, when you have to wait till I'm done.
All right, that'll be Tuesday at 3
I
o'clock.
have a couple. Oh, fuck. What is so important? What is it, Leonard?
Nothing.
I was trying to come up with a game strategy for these. I have 2 leagues, and it's your second opportunity to do well, and the mistakes that you made early in the season, you can try to fix those. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to have a strategy, and I'm thinking I'm going to target all starting pitchers, because I figure if you go for it, you got to go for it. If you draft a starting pitcher in the first round, you have to draft one in the second round. If you draft those two, you might as well draft another one, right? When should
Well,
I choose a hitter?
I'm taking the position that drafting starting pitching, and there's not a lot of starting pitchers to draft. That have you noticed that you can't
Y-
draft Bieber, you can't draft Kershaw. Uh,
Bauer.
who's the best pitcher to draft?
You can't draft a lot of these guys because you have no idea if they're going to be able to be sturdy enough to get through the season, because not a lot of these guys, like for instance, Pablo or Trevor Rogers. I love Trevor Rogers. I really think he's done a great job, and I'm jealous that I don't have him on any teams, but I'm not really that confident that he's going to be able to pitch 200 innings. Okay, and neither Rodon is another one, and that doesn't even talk about the pitchers that are hurting.
So it's very difficult to draft starting pitching. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's just go through some of the National League games, and then we'll get the crystal ball.
Like Brandon Woodruff, how
Go
much
ahead.
faith
Don't
do you
even
have?
answer. Just keep
That's
talking.
fine, Lenny. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
you go ahead. Like Brandon Woodruff, who uh he's
Has
a
never
little
pitched more than 130 innings in a season. And that
right.
right now he's at that. And there's a couple other pitchers too that you have to look at and say, this guy's never pitched more than the innings that he has at this moment. Shohei Ohtani is one of them.
Of course, if you have Shohei Ohtani, you have to put him out on the market for a number of reasons. Innings pitched is one. The second reason is with a guy who runs, pitches, hits,
Hi,
fields.
Kyle.
All right, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying hi to Kyle.
That's right. He's bound to go on the injured list. Absolutely. But the Mets, unbelievable. The amount of injuries we know about about the Cleveland Indians. They lost their whole pitching staff. But a lot of teams have suffered. But the Mets now, they lose Lindor. They'll possibly lose DeGrom. And yesterday against Pittsburgh, Pirates were trailing 6-0. And then they scored all their runs in the final 2 innings. They scored 5 in the eighth and 4 in the ninth. How about that one?
You really hate that game, don't you?
Oh, well, not the game. I hate the announcers, okay? The announcers now are not announcing the game, they're screaming. And I listened to it on MLB this morning. I had to shut the TV off. Unbelievable.
You always
Unbelievable.
have to shut the TV off when I have it on the game
Not when they're screaming.
Fastcast or whatever
So
they call it.
trailing 6-0, the Pirates scored all their runs in the last 2 innings. J.D. Davis hit a pair of home runs for the Mets. Lindor out indefinitely with a
Hey,
sprained
Lindor's done,
oblique.
dude.
Go ahead, you just keep talking.
Lindor's done.
Keep talking while I'm talking. The Mets dropped 2-4 against the Pirates over the last 10 days.
This
Two
is so
blown
annoying.
saves by Diaz.
Aren't we supposed to have a conversation about the game? I thought.
Not while I'm talking about the game. Now you may talk. And now you have nothing to say, right?
Yeah, I have a lot to say. I'm just waiting for you to be
I'm
done
done.
scolding me.
Go ahead.
Tyler McGill. Did you talk about him?
Nope.
Why not? He's the one upside for the Mets. Okay,
Yes,
this
go
Tyler
ahead.
McGill. You know that Seattle literally DFA'd this guy in April. They just threw him away.
Well, look, the Mets
The
have done
Mariners.
that with Flexen. They did it with, they gave away Zach Wheeler. They didn't sign him. Come
No,
on.
they didn't give him away. They didn't sign him. That's different than DFAing somebody. They literally let go of this guy, and he pitched 6 innings last night. No earned runs, no walks. He only struck out 2, but 6 innings is a big feat for this guy. And I've been keeping my eye on him. He was on Saturday Baseball yesterday as a possible pickup, because I like to talk about waiver wire pickups on Saturday Baseball. What? Oh, okay. Hold on. I lost Lenny. 1 sec. Okay,
All right, we're back.
you're back. I've been here.
Okay, we're back. Okay, there you go.
So keep on talking. But McGill, I like to keep an eye on.
Okay, do you have Stallings on your team? I know you picked him
I
up as
have
a
him.
catcher.
Yeah, I have him on a team or two. Yeah. Hi,
Hit-
Poncho.
Hit the big home run yesterday. Diaz had not allowed a home run in 48 innings going back to last season. So look, the Yankees, two doubles from Michael Conforto, who I am saying is going to be a star in the second half. No matter
Oh,
what the Mets do, you got to pick up Michael Conforto. I'll say it again. And by the way, McGill was looking for his first win. Imagine leaving with a 6-0 lead. Okay, you have to throw in 93 pitches, and that's it, and you wind up losing.
Conforto. I have a problem with your idea of Conforto.
Go ahead.
I don't believe it. I don't believe he's coming back because I don't believe that I think last year was the best season of his career. And I think he was way over his head last year. He is absolutely horrible this year. He has no clue what he's doing at the plate. And I do not see him coming back. And I wish, for holy moly, I wish that somebody would take him off my hands. I can't stand this. When guys in the industry that I spy on that are in my leagues, okay, that I go and I read their articles at The Athletic, at wherever it may be, okay, all these people have articles and stuff, and it makes it very easy to know what they think about players. So I'm going to say that Jake Seeley lost a bunch of players in labor. He lost like Bauer.
Okay.
He
No
lost
names. No
I don't
names.
care. No, I'm calling him out.
Go ahead.
So he says he needs to make a trade where he is willing to give up his best players for he needs like quantity, of players.
Right.
It's really about quantity because he had Acuna, Bauer. I mean, he has like multiple injuries. So I'm like in second to last place, and all I'm trying to do is get out of the bottom half. And he's actually doing pretty well. So he just needs to stabilize, right? He's got a ton of saves. He leads the league in saves. He has plenty of saves to give away with Kimbrel and the Kenley Jansen, and Matt Barnes, all three of those closers. And I could really move up quite a bit if I get a few saves under my belt. Okay. So I make him an offer of the players that he has on his list that he's recommending to people for the second half, such as Conforto, Rhys Hoskins. I offered him both of those players and like three other players, Patrick Sandoval. Like I made him a
Did
trade.
he reply to you?
First, he declined my first offer, but the second one he just let sit there because, well, I don't blame him for that because, like,
Has he declined it yet?
No, I withdrew it finally because I'm not going to wait forever. If you leave these trades up and you forget to take it down and withdraw it, at some point they could just turn around and be like, oh, I think I'll do that trade. If it's on the table, do not forget to withdraw trades because, I mean, that happens. But here's my thing. Don't go out there and tell all your listeners, all your readers of your information, okay? Don't say one thing and not do that thing because that just looks bad. If I'm going to say that I like a player and I'm going to target a player, I will do that. I don't think that anybody should be talking about it and not doing it. When it comes down time to do it, why don't you have to act on it. You can't recommend Conforto and Rhys Hoskins and all these players and then just not when you're desperate for players.
Absolutely.
Maybe he doesn't like me.
Right,
I don't
ahead.
know. Do you think maybe he doesn't like me?
I don't like you.
I don't like you.
There are two things you have to pay attention to. Number one is what Andy said. If you're touting a player, either on the radio, podcast, or in writing, if you're touting a player and you don't make an honest effort to get that player, anything you say doesn't mean anything.
I wish I could trade Conforto to you.
It's bull dinky and poppycock.
Because you are
Second thing.
You would take him, wouldn't you?
Of course I would take him.
You would take him because you're not bright. He's batting 150 against lefties.
That even makes it more of a reason why I would take him.
One other thing, he's got
I'll bet you right now that Conforto hits 250 on the season.
I'm going to going to tell you one thing that people use as a reason why Conforto's having such a bad year. They
What
say,
is it?
well, he had an injury, right? He's got an injury in the lower part of your body, blah,
Okay.
blah.
All right. All right. All
Okay,
right.
the guy's had 200 plate appearances, over 200. He's batting 206. He's got 3 home runs, and he doesn't even have 20 RBIs yet. He is not doing well. He's batting 150 against lefties. Okay, his contact rate is the same. It hasn't gone up or down. His strikeout rate is the same, but it's got to be, dude. He's just not making good contact. His exit velocity is down. His
Yeah, I don't exit velocity. When Conforto came out of Penn State, he was labeled a pure hitter. He
well,
is
he's not.
still a pure hitter.
Well,
Give him a
when
chance.
he's 28 years old, when
I
he
don't give a crap what he is. He's a hitter.
he
I'll take Conforto. I'll bet you right now he hits 250
Do you know
by
that
the end
last
of the
year
year.
his batting average on balls in play was over 400? Last year.
No, I don't know.
Well, now you do.
Okay, go
You
ahead.
still
All
like
right.
him?
I still like him.
I know you do.
I
And I
like.
would love to trade him to you, Leonard, but I don't believe in him.
We're not in the same league, okay?
I know.
The Phillies Marlins game was suspended, but Pablo Lopez goes
He's
on
hurt.
the injured list, okay? That's the end of the line for the big 3 starters in Miami. Lopez has missed several weeks in the past with the same kind of injury, but hopefully he could return at some point during the season.
Well,
Okay?
Pablo Lopez needs a rest, and this could really be one of those things because he needs a rest, but he's been pitching excellent. Really, he's been pitching very good.
Yes,
He
he
never,
has.
I mean, he doesn't hardly walk anybody. He doesn't give up home runs. He's just a great young pitcher that needs a phantom DL, trip for now so that he could be ready to go back and play more. I don't think he's really hurt too bad. They do say that he has a right rotator cuff strain. So,
And now here's something that you predicted in Washington with that game, of course, being suspended. Steven Strasburg did not feel right after he had a simulated game last weekend,
oh
so he
lordy.
is backing off from mound work for now.
All right, I'm done.
Exactly what you said. Strasburg has thrown just 26 pitches since he signed a 7-year, $245 million contract in December of 2019. He has thrown 26 innings. That's unbelievable.
Okay, what's unbelievable is the fact that they signed him for 7 years. But I drafted him, and I will still totally back up the reasoning for that because 2019 was his best season, and he pitched over 200 innings, and that's all I needed out of him until I believed in him. And then he came back in 2020 and pitched 5 innings. Holy moly, this guy. This is it, though. What you just told me, that's it. That's the end of the line for me. I'm selling him back to Fab, get Fab money for him in Tout Wars. I'm selling him back. And my relationship with Strasburg has just ended.
Kyle Amori in the chat room talks about Christian Yelich,
He's
and he's
another problem.
absolutely right. Yelich had a big second half last year. Let's see if he can do it again. Let's go back to the San Diego. Keep in mind, Eric Hosmer hit 172 in 94 plate appearances in June, but in July, he went 3 for 4 on Friday, now batting .415, his 3rd straight multi-hit game. Would you recommend Eric Hosmer to be picked up now? He's getting hot.
I would recommend Eric Hosmer no matter what, even when he doesn't hit for good average, because he still gets RBIs all the time because of where he hits in the lineup and what a good lineup that he's in. And by the way, his batting average on the season is 272. So these people that like to complain about Eric Hosmer all the time, yes, I know Malpal calls him tap because he taps the ball into the infield is what he says. But seriously, he's reliable every year for RBIs. And I have no problem with him. Absolutely none.
Now, on Friday, first time in 41 starts, Tommy Pham did not bat leadoff. He was batting 5th and became the second Padre player ever to score 5 runs in a game. How about that one? Will Myers
Go ahead.
Will Myers hit 2 home runs on Friday. 6 home runs for Myers in his past 85 games. Okay, he had 6 home runs in his first 178 at bats, and in that game Friday where the Nationals got clobbered, 258 pitches were thrown, 25 more than any other team has thrown in a game this year.
24 runs. That's the big deal.
Yep.
I can't believe how many runs. So, yeah, I don't think that Tommy Pham did that because he was batting fifth in the order instead of first. I wonder what they're doing, though, with that because Trent Grisham actually batted leadoff that time, and they just basically switched Grisham with Pham.
Yep.
And it wasn't anything weird. It was just a normal right-handed pitcher up. Maybe they should keep doing that because it really worked out for them. Maybe, like when you wear a pair of socks and then you pitch well or something, and then you keep wearing those
yeah,
socks every day.
I haven't changed my underwear since I hit a home run in the 6th grade to win the game.
No wonder, dude. It stinks down there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, but you know what? I love San Diego. I like them.
Okay.
I hope they do I hope they get a pitcher before the July 30th deadline.
Very good.
They need
now, Kyler Murray talked about Christian Yelich. He doubled home the go-ahead run in the 11th. The Milwaukee Brewers calmed down Cincinnati, and they beat him 7-4. Unbelievable. And here's what happened. Cincinnati. I mean, they loaded the bases in the bottom of the 11th, okay? But they had nobody on the bench. They had to send up Wade Miley to pinch hit, and he grounded out to end the game. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What do you think is wrong with Yelich? I wonder really a lot about this one. I'm not a fan of Yelich anyway. I never really thought he was that good, but I know he is a good I'm not saying that he's not good, but I've never drafted him because I feel like he's always been overdrafted a little bit. But he has had some great seasons, okay? So, I mean, this guy used to hit over 300 in his heyday. Right now, he's 29 years old. He's batting 240. Last year, he batted 205. Now, does this have something to do with injuries? Perhaps. But he's batting against lefties 178. And he used to hit lefties really well. He's striking out like between last year and this year. His strikeout rate is out of control. I wonder if pitchers have figured him out, and that maybe if I do a little deeper digging, which I probably won't because I don't have him on any team, so I'm just not that interested. But if anybody in the chat room has done some digging on Yelich, I would be interested to know what your theory is about why is his strikeout rate. You just don't see that normally. A guy with a 20% strikeout rate, all of a sudden 1 year now he has a 30% strikeout rate. And it's not that because he changed teams, because he was good in Milwaukee when he was traded there. He was good there for 2 seasons. All of a sudden, a guy's strikeout rate goes from 20% to 30% and stays there.
All right. Well,
what's up with that?
I don't know. But it looks to me that he's starting off the second half same way he did last year. He hit over 300 last year in the second half. So let's jump on the Christian Yelich bandwagon.
Let me read something. Okay.
And of course, after losing 3 out of 4 to the Reds at home before the All-Star break, the Brewers really opened it up with 2 straight wins to take a 6-game lead.
We have a question. I know this person is not signed in. I know they're in one of our second half league, so I know they're drafting with us right now, but they have a question that they put in the chat room, and it says, our league is fully automated on CBS. Wander Franco came up and I bid $130 of my remaining $170 FAB. The other GMs all had very little except 2 guys near the top with me. Therefore, the bid to outbid them, he says, as it turns out, the next highest bid was $35. So he says, I admittedly checked on the wrong Wander Franco. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. He clicked on the wrong. He must be drafting at it's CBS. Anyways, it's the wrong Wander Franco when he was adding that player.
Oh,
so then
boy.
It was discovered the next morning, and he thought that he could get the move corrected by the commissioner, and it was not corrected, and the second bid stood. Was I reasonable to be very angry?
Absolutely. It's called common sense. Should prevail.
But it's his first year in this league that's been around for a long time. He's a newbie.
Sense.
Common sense is to, how many Wander Francos are there, dude?
I don't know, but there's only one that could be drafted.
No, no, obviously not, because he said he bid on the wrong Wander Franco.
I say there's only one legitimate Wander Franco draft. You don't draft the other guys. You draft the one who's playing, the hottest rookie in town. That's the
Do you
draft.
know another Wander? Why is that other Wander Franco in the system? Is my question.
There is another Wander Franco, but you know that if you're drafting and they're both available, which one are you going to take? I mean,
Well,
come on,
then
a little common sense.
why are you saying he should be mad then if you're telling me that he should have picked the right Wander Franco?
He should have, but he made a mistake, and it's obviously a mistake. Sometimes we outthink ourselves. It's obviously a mistake.
I remember a year when we were doing it in the Dynasty League at Fantrax, and Fantrax player pool is like ridiculous. There's players in there from like 1979, okay? Players that like never even made it to the majors, but you know how many players have the same, and I did the exact same thing when I drafted a player that apparently had already been drafted, but I saw his name on the draft board and I picked him, and I was very upset that they wouldn't fix that for me and give me a different pick. I wasn't expecting them to like rewind the draft or anything, but I just wanted to like replace him with a different player. They were like, no, that's your fault. And I'm like, this is a guy that never even made it to the major leagues. He was a Dominican player in the Mexican league or whatever. And he wasn't even, and it was just so annoying for me, but that was their reasoning too. Just, you have to pick the right player. You have to double check, I guess.
Bradley Rose has made an appearance in the chat room. Good morning to you all. Matt Hooper is here. Star Dog, great turnout in the chat room. Good morning to everybody. And by the way, Jonathan India, who's having a pretty good rookie year, hit a leadoff home run in the eighth to tie the game at 3. Crystal Ball, getting ready to come up. We had Willie Adames with 3 more hits. He scored twice. He drove in a run. Friday night, he had 3 hits, 4 RBIs. Since Willie Adames has joined the team on May 22nd in a trade with Tampa, he leads the Brewers in hits. This is incredible. Doubles. He leads the Brewers extra base hits, total bases, and the Brewers are 34-16 since he arrived.
I'm busy.
I know you're busy.
I'm helping now, pal.
Okay, but you're not going to like this. Devin Williams placed on the 10-day injured list. Right elbow discomfort. Sorry.
Why am I not going to like it? He's useless. He's been useless all year. He's a total waste of a pick and a draft pick. That's all I have to say about him. And I don't even notice that he's on because I've already gotten rid of him on all my teams. But you know what? I really thought he was going to have a good year. I thought he was going to be an effector, but he hasn't been junk.
And Nick Castellanos isn't expected to miss significant. He thought his wrist was broken. I mean, Nick Castellanos goes and I quit. Okay. Corbin Burns goes against Sonny Gray today. The Cubs and the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks, a team that won 14 games in April. They've won 12 games since. 26-68, on pace to lose 117 games. Unbelievable. Lost with a blown slave. Wilson Contreras capped the Chicago 3-run ninth, 2-run homer, sending the Cubs to a 4-2 win. Rex Brothers got 3 outs for the win. All-star Craig Kimbrell worked the ninth for his 21st save. He's having a fantastic year. Nick Ahmad and Josh Rojas each drove in a run. Arizona now has dropped 5 out of 6. Okay. Last National League game, Hong Young Kim. He didn't need a translator. He was smiling from ear to ear. 6 shutout innings. Tyler O'Neill, Paul Goldschmidt both homered. And that snapped the Giants' 5-game winning streak. I'm telling you, the Giants are in trouble.
Excuse me, they lost trouble. 1 game. You're in trouble.
They'll be in trouble.
No, they aren't.
Cardinals now have won 8 out of 10 games at home against the Giants. Kim tossed 7 shutout innings against the Giants back in July, and once again in total command. Okay. And before we finish up this game, Anthony DeSclafani, 3 runs, 5 hits over 6 innings, struck out 4, no walks, and Alex Reyes, 21st save, 21 out of 21.
Very 23, great, right?
23 saves in his career, and Tyler O'Neill hit his 16th. So come on in, Crystal. Have a seat. Andy, get ready to get the hell out of here.
I can't wait.
Goldschmidt, 3 hits. Hitting streak now is 12 games. Okay. Unbelievable. All right, so one more game. Max Muncy hit 2 home runs. Mookie Betts is not playing today, by the way. He had a homer and 4 extra base hits. He had left with a hip problem. Muncy homered his last 2 at bats and finished with 5 RBIs. Good game by Walker Buehler. 7 strong innings for Walker Buehler. H.A. Pollock hit a home run. McMahon had a run-scoring double. But Mookie Betts will not be playing today. So if you have daily moves, take him out of your lineup.
How about if you have a sip of coffee?
Yeah, I will. Okay. Losing my voice. Okay. Crystal Ball, welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard, Leonard.
You sound like Andrea.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to fix this.
What are you trying to fix?
I'm trying to fix the draft.
Instead of fixing the draft, why don't you concentrate on what you're doing? Okay, Crystal Ball, nice to have you with us. Okay.
Well, yeah, thank you, Mr. Leonard, but you should be very nice to Mrs. Roto Lady because she is nice to you.
Okay, let's start off. Jock Peterson made a strong debut with the Atlanta Braves. He's taking the place of Ronald Acuna. Will Jock Peterson hit 20 home runs in the second half of the season?
Yes. That's it, yes.
Yes, okay.
Wait a minute. In the second half?
Yes, second half. Pay attention. Crystal Ball, you're hanging out with the Roto Lady too much.
I will not take this type of talk. I will not take this tone from you.
Will Peterson hit 20 home runs in the second half?
Yes, I do think so. Why not?
Fantastic. Okay. Jock Peterson. Will Trey Mancini be traded?
Nope.
You don't think if they get a decent offer for Trey Mancini, why don't you think they would? Is it because he had cancer that he won't be traded?
No. It's because he's under contract for another season. And why would they trade him?
Because his contract isn't that great. And they could rebuild. That's about rebuilding. It's about rebuilding. I say Mancini gets traded.
Well, let me ask you a question. When you are in rebuild mode,
yes,
don't you need a veteran presence and a fan favorite and a great clubhouse guy? I mean, there's an article at The Athletic that asked, that was specifically, it was the Baltimore's writer talking to 5 different GMs about there's 4 players that they are trying to decide, like these are players that they don't know for sure if they should trade or not. But one of them was Mancini. And they asked the opinions of 5 different GMs. Okay, if you were Mike Elias right now, what would you do with Trey Mancini? And all of them talked about the leadership, the absolute leadership, the clubhouse quality, the fan favorite, just the person that he is, on top of the great baseball player that he is, and the fact that they get to keep him through 2022. And I don't know why you think that his contract is good.
I know when Tampa brought in Troy Percival and Cliff Floyd, they became a good team. Not because they were good players, they changed the clubhouse.
But Jim Bowden did make a good point that his trade value will never be higher than it will be on July 30th, but that he would use it as an opportunity to extend Trey Mancini. Now, he is, to me, you don't keep a player just because they're a clubhouse guy. I know that. And Mike Elias did absolutely say that if they got a great offer for him, that he would have to be going. Just like that's the answer to every trade question. If they get a good enough offer that they can't refuse, the guy's going. I don't care who he is. Okay. Or how good
by the way, I want to answer Kyle Amori's question about how Crystal Ball sounds like Miss Cleo. She's taking voice lessons, and she's taking them from the Roto Lady, and I think she's studying a little too hard. Is Sandy Alcantara is he going to be a top starting pitcher?
What do you think I'm going to say, Leonard?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
You know he belongs in the bullpen.
You think he's going to eventually be in the bullpen?
Okay, the last 2 outings that he's had, he's pitched 7 innings in 2 outings, 3 innings and 4 innings. He's 0-2. He has 8 strikeouts and 4 walks in 7 innings, a 7.71 ERA, and a WHIP over 2. In the last 12 starts that he's made, he's 4-7 with 57 strikeouts and 23 walks in 70 innings and a 3.60 ERA. So his ERA on the season looks much better than what it's been in the recent past. And I will tell you, this guy is not a starting pitcher, in my opinion. He belongs in the bullpen, exactly where he could get it done. And he would have an ERA under 2 in the bullpen.
So you're telling people in a keeper league, do not expect Alcantara to be a good starting pitcher.
Trade
Interesting.
him. I would say that to them. This is not new. Me and you fought about this years ago in Arizona. We've been fighting about it ever since.
Will the Boston Red Sox get a first baseman, and will it be Anthony Rizzo?
Remember when Craig got mad at me on Twitter because I was telling the truth
I
about Alcantara?
Yeah, okay, but there was a little bit more to it than that.
Well, he pretty much works with the team, so he didn't want me to be,
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Will the
so
Red Sox get a first baseman? I don't think the first base situation there is any good right now.
You know that Rizzo was drafted by the Red Sox.
Yes, that's why Red Sox are interested in him.
I would not be surprised if they got him, and I would not be surprised if they got Garrett Cooper too, or one of them, not both.
One of them, not
Yeah.
both. What about I talked with Roto Lady about Conforto. Who do you agree with, me or her?
Hamstring. That's what they're trying to blame this on. Hamstring injury, right? I'm sorry. That only goes so far. He's had over 200 at bats. He does not play well. Not what he was last year. I do think that he'll start hitting some home runs, but now with Lindor out, that does not help him in any way, shape, or form, I think. I mean, Lindor going out is going to hurt the Mets. Even though he wasn't doing that good, he's still, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. He wasn't contributing much, okay? So I don't know how much it's going to hurt him, but what do you think about this Lindor thing? An oblique problem.
Oh, he could be out for a while. This is not going to be a simple thing. Now, the Yankees, in the next couple of days, we'll know about the Yankees. This is a team that really would like to make a trade, but they have nobody to trade. The question is, will they make a trade, and will it be Aaron Judge, especially if they're not going to make the playoffs?
When you say they don't have anybody to trade, they actually have
who do they have?
Luke Voigt. They have
Gleyber
Torres. They have
Gleyber Torres.
No.
Don't
ask me the question and then interrupt me with
because you're 100% wrong. Gleyber Torres is the only other one they could trade.
Why is
and
he
he's
even
not
tradable?
He's not even playing well because he's young.
Wait,
Luke Voigt, and nobody wants him.
Hold on a minute.
You can't get anything for LeMahieu at this point.
You know what? When people don't
Who are they going to get?
When you don't have a good explanation, that's when you just keep on ranting away and just overpound. Listen, you're going to tell me that Gleyber Torres can be traded because he's young?
Yes.
How old is Voigt?
And he's still got that name. He's still got that name. Gleyber Torres.
Okay, Gleyber
They'll
Torres.
Get something.
So because of his name, he's going to get
That's
traded.
What it is.
But nobody will take LeMahieu. He's having a horrible season.
No, he's not. He's not that kind of player. Torres, they think, is still young. Still,
Voigt is young too.
Way to go. Voigt's 30. He's 30. He's hurt. He's 30. Time to pay attention.
How about their bullpen? They have plenty of arms in their bullpen.
Who do they have to trade?
Chapman?
Oh, come on. They can't even pitch him. Zach Britton could be the only one.
Chad Green? Is he not good?
Alec Boehm. He's not doing anything offensively. He's not doing anything defensively.
Okay, he's got COVID.
And he's out now. Will he ever emerge this year to have a respectable season?
Okay. Alec Boehm, this year, you think? You're asking for this year.
This year.
This guy is not that experienced, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a break here for a second.
And what about next year? Do you expect him to be a decent player?
Probably. I expect him to be a little bit better. I mean, here's the thing. In the last 9 games, Boehm has 2 home runs. He's batting .276. Okay, he's walked 5 times, .382 on base percentage. So he's not doing that bad. This is since the last 9 games. So I do think that he will get a little bit better. I don't think he's going to be great, but I absolutely think that he will grow into his spot. He's never even played at AAA. So he's, last year he was called up to the majors because they had nowhere to put him. And I think maybe we're comparing him to last year, but we have to realize that 160 at bats is not enough. And it's only just enough for the pitchers to figure out your weakness, and then they will target it. And your job then is to adjust accordingly. And I think that that's what he's struggling with. But anybody that thought he was going to be the way that he was drafted this year was insane. And he should be an excellent example for people next year in their draft to remember that just because a youngster comes up, he does well in his first couple at bats, doesn't mean that you should draft him alongside Trey Mancini or another experienced player. To me, that's my opinion. But you know what? If you don't believe me, that's great for me, because the more people that don't believe that, the better off I am in drafts.
I want to say thank you to Anthony D.B. Miller for being in the chat room in Colombo, Daniel Ferrara, Dougie Boyle, Eddie Heckman, the chairman of the board with Jay
Eddie.
Stubbs. Laura DiChiara is here from West
Yay, Laura.
Nyack. Okay. Love you, kid. We're going to come up and see you.
Where?
Mal Pal, Matt Hooper, Southport, Star Dog, and a cast of thousands. Great to have you here. Okay. Will Wander Franco be a bust? Now, when I say bust, will he be a bust in general? And certainly, will he be a disappointment to those people who thought he would be a star?
Mr. Leonard, hasn't Crystal Ball told you already about Wander Franco? Earlier in the season, I thought I told you to stay away from him.
Okay.
Why would he be a bust for you? Because you didn't spend all your fat money on him.
I didn't. Starling Castro is out now. Could be out for a while.
Hold on a minute on Wander Franco.
Go ahead.
I have another thing to say.
Go ahead.
Wander Franco can be played this week. I could tell you that. This upcoming week, starting tomorrow and throughout next Sunday, okay, till next time we see each other, I would suggest putting Wander Franco active in your roster. I think that he's got good matchups this week, and if he's ever going to do anything, it's probably going to be this week. If you spent the money on him, you kind of have to put him in your, at least for this week. But I don't recommend just, there's a such thing called sunk cost. And if you keep somebody in your lineup just because you spend a bunch of money on them, that's a bad idea. But for this week, I think you should. However, this guy, look, he hits, his contact rate in the minors was 92%, 87%. I mean, this guy did not strike out hardly at all. You knew he was going to strike out much more when he got to the majors, and you just should have known that. However, I do think he's going to have some bumps and peaks and all of this throughout his growth. But he does have a home run since July 2nd, which would be the beginning of July. 7 games, Wander Franco, 1 home run, only 2 RBIs. His batting average is 200. I'll give him a chance this week. And if he doesn't do it, I'm taking him out of my lineup, no matter how much fab money I spend on him.
Okay, with Starling Castro out, maybe for a while, you think Washington's going to go for Chris Bryant?
At what point does Washington accept the fact that they're not making the playoffs? They're 10 games back from a wild card spot at this point. They do not stand a chance of making the wild card. That's what my crystal ball tells me. So that's not my opinion. That's just what my crystal ball says.
You know who's got
they need to quit acting like they're buyers, okay, at this point.
You know who's got the most home runs in the history of the American League for one season?
Roger Maris.
Roger Maris, number 61. Will Vladimir Guerrero break Roger Maris's record?
I hope so. I really love Vladdy. I really do.
What do you think the chances are, if Lindor is out for an extended period, what do you think the chances are of the Cubs trying to make a deal with the Mets and the Mets trying to get Javier Baez?
Oh, geez. I will be very pleased when July 30th comes and we don't have to keep talking about the dang Cubbies and their trade possibilities.
But that's one of the beauties of baseball. Baseball offers that conversation better than any other sport.
But Crystal Ball has already answered this question, and I really get tired of asking the Crystal Ball the same question over and over.
Okay, let's go to a different question.
You remember Javi Baez Way? It's a road in Wrigleyville.
Yes, I remember.
You like it? Javi Baez Way.
I loved it.
He's a fan favorite.
I'm going to buy a house there.
They're going to extend him. They're going to sell. They're going to trade Bryant because they have to. And Rizzo is definitely either going or signing. But I think that the Cubbies, if they were smart, they would try to hold on to Rizzo. However, the Red Sox are in a situation where they would really love to have Rizzo back. Do you remember Rizzo went to San Diego for a minute, right?
Yep.
And then when Theo went to the Cubbies, Theo grabbed Lester and Rizzo to be old friends again, old pals.
Okay.
It says something about the type of person that Rizzo is, and I'm sure the Cubbies would like to keep him. But do the Red Sox have anybody to trade? You say the Yankees don't. Do the Red Sox?
They may have some people in the minors I'm not familiar with.
They're finally just got their minor league system building back up. Finally,
we're talking to Crystal Ball. A lot of people have been disappointed by Lucas Giolito.
Hold on a minute. If Lindor's out, are the Mets going to be interested in replacing Lindor this trade deadline? They absolutely said they are willing to spend some money. Are they going to spend more money on that dang shortstop position that they can't seem to figure out, even though they had two healthy shortstops that they traded away to Cleveland to begin the season?
Good point.
Right? Now they have Lindor.
Good point.
They don't have anybody now. Their defense is horrible. They're leading the National League East. They have to make a move. Is it really for a shortstop? Is that the best move to make?
Moving right along. Well,
I'm asking you.
I think if they think they're in contention,
well, how do you not? If you're leading the National League East.
Because they're falling apart without DeGrom, without Lindor. Who knows how long that lead is going to last?
No other team is winning in the National League East, though, so they don't have anything to worry about.
They will not. Well, look at Atlanta. Atlanta's buying players. They
are. They're not quitting.
Got Vogt. They got Peterson.
I love Atlanta. It's my new favorite city.
Not household names. So will Lucas Giolito rise to become the pitcher we expected?
Yes, I just drafted him in the second half league. I just drafted him.
That.
Do you want to know why I drafted him? Because I saw in my crystal ball. I saw what he's doing right now. And Giolito yesterday, 1 run, 3 hits, struck out 8, pitched a full game. He's got 113 innings on the season, but you know this guy's already pitched close enough to 200 to expect him to do it again. Last year he pitched 72, but the 2 years before that he pitched 175 in each of those two. I love the chances of Giolito being good. I do worry a little bit about the sticky stuff. Okay, I was worried until last night's start. Now I'm convinced that he doesn't need the sticky stuff too much. But didn't he have a blister maybe?
Yes.
Okay, he's spunky. I like him. I took him.
Who is the only fantasy baseball analyst that mentioned Keith Hembry?
No, his name is Heath. H with the H.
Yeah, Heath Hembry. Who's the only one?
Nobody else mentioned Keith Hembry.
The only one who mentioned Heath Hembry.
You're not the only one, but I'll say that you were the first one.
Who else was it?
Well,
after he became a closer,
article,
he got saves. Before then, it was the legend.
Let's just say,
is it Hembry or Garrett? Who's going to close out the most games?
Okay, this is a ridiculous question. Can I tell you why?
Yes, please.
Garrett, I don't think so. His last save was on the 4th of July. His ERA is over 7. Your friend Heath Hembry, he has just in June 5 saves, or July, just in the month of July, he has 5 saves. So, and a 1.42 ERA. Okay, who do you think is going to close out games for that team, the Reds?
The guy I predicted, Heath Hembry.
The Reds? Yeah, the Reds. It is.
Who are you going to take next year? You're looking for a young pitcher. Would you take Casey Mize or would you take Skubal?
Sometimes I think that you ask crystal ball questions just so you could say, I told you so about Heath Hembry, because you were teasing me that he was drafted in 2009. He's like 40 probably at this point. I don't know.
Right. Absolutely.
But you like to ask these questions. This answer was so obvious that
who would you rather have next year, Casey Mize or
I'm not done talking. No, I want an answer to this question.
Yes, I like Hembry. Drafted by the Giants from Rice University. He was a number 1 pick to be a closer. Took him 10 years to get a chance.
I know.
Okay.
You're right, Bill.
Mize or Skubal next year? Who would you rather have?
Okay, so I did some looking into this too. And both of these pitchers, of course, I like. But I went to Fangraphs and I compared the different stats between these guys. They're both about the same age. And honestly, I thought that Skubal was such more of a velocity guy. I really thought Tarek Skubal had a much higher velocity at like 99 miles an hour. But Casey Mize velocity is right up there too. So it comes down to command. And the thing is, neither of these guys have a lot of command. They both give up too many home runs. They both walk too many. They both have an ERA that's not that great. But both of these guys are good. If I have to choose one, I'm taking, I don't know who. Casey Mize. I don't know. They both strike out a lot of batters, but Scooble strikes out more batters.
All that for an I don't know.
I know.
Will Jorge Soler have a better second half and reemerge as a player?
He's got, look, you can't play Jorge Soler this coming week because he's got problems. They go to Milwaukee for several games and there's no DH in Milwaukee. So Jorge Soler is not your pick for this week. However, his underlying stats do not look any different. Actually, they look better. His underlying stats, so he's striking out. Last year, he struck out 35% of the time. That was an outlier. Normally, he strikes out about 26% of the time. Right now, he's striking out 28% of the time. It's not enough to make a big deal of difference. His batting average on balls in play is super low, 240. His contact rate is actually way higher than it was last year, but it's right on par with what it normally is. What I'm saying in a long story short, his underlying numbers tell me that he has not changed one thing about the way that he's hitting. The fact that he's batting 187 right now is a fluke. I believe it will normalize. He will hit for some power going forward, but you have to expect a very low batting average with this guy, and don't put him on your roster active for this week. He's practically free, though. I bet you could find him in a lot of 12-team leagues. Take a chance on him for $1, bench him, and then play him next week.
I know Class A has really been struggling. You're going to go with Karinchak over Class A for the rest of the season? Every day.
Every day. Can I please?
Go ahead. Can you talk? You haven't shut up for an hour. Go ahead.
Well, you ask me the questions, and I will put in a wholehearted answer. That's what I'm here for.
Okay, go ahead.
If you want to take a break and talk something else that you could give some advice, that would be fine.
I don't care. We can't stay on all day. Go ahead.
We have 45 minutes left for our 2-hour show.
Go ahead.
You're so annoying. Sometimes I think you talk just to hear your own voice.
Will Brian Reynolds be traded?
Emmanuel Clase is what I'm talking about right now.
Well, talk about him.
On Friday, he gets a loss and a blown save. He has now allowed 5 runs in the last 3 innings, and his ERA is still 2.19, but he's blown 3 saves in a row, I think. Anyway, he's not doing well. He's still listed as the closer, and I wonder what's up with Cleveland, because they do not, for some reason, why haven't they just put Karinchak in that role and left him there? He was great last year. He's great this year. All of a sudden, they replace him. Do they like him as an effector, or what's the problem here?
I think Karinchak's going to get the job full time.
Or traded.
No trade, full time.
Well, why?
Will the Minnesota Twins extend Byron Buxton? They're trying to do it. Will they succeed?
You just skipped 2 questions. Brian Reynolds, no, I don't think they'll trade him, but they would like to, I'm sure. They need to trade anybody. The Pirates need to spend some money. They're absolutely a joke when it comes to payroll. Their payroll for the entire team is about what Bryce Harper gets in one season. It's unbelievable that they get away with that when they're getting money from the rich team, spending all kinds of money, and they're getting money out of the sharing thing. Trade Berrios. He has 1 year of arbitration. That's the problem for anybody trying to get Berrios. The Blue Jays need him so bad. The Padres need him so bad. The Mets need him, right? You say the Mets need him?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not hitting free agency until 2022, 2023 offseason. So they have not initiated talks as far as we know, but we don't know everything. They don't really tell us everything. So they could wait till the offseason, just like we talked about earlier. Moving on, about Buxton. Buxton, my boy.
Will they extend him?
Guy, the best defensive player in all of baseball. Why are they trying to
extend him? Right.
They're trying right now. They offered him $70 million. So I know that he's pondering that for a minute, but $70 million. And they really just he needs to accept $70 million with the incentives that if you play games, then you get paid extra, because nobody can sign this guy straight up and be like, okay, I'm going to give you a 5-year contract. Half the time he won't play. So you say, I'll give you a 5-year contract for this much, but then I'll double it if you play 200. If you play 80 games, we'll give you double the money, right? That's what they need to do. They're trying to keep him. I see why. He's excellent when he's healthy.
Who would you rather have long term? Outfielder Tyler O'Neill or shortstop Paul DeJong?
Buxton was the number 2 overall draft pick.
I'm moving on to the next question.
He's batted .282 with 33 homers, 44 doubles. He's very good hitter.
Who?
I wish
I'm asking you about 2 Cardinals, and you're talking about somebody else.
I don't give a crap about O'Neill or DeJong. How about this?
All right,
I don't
so
care
skip
about
it.
either of them. But I will say this. DeJong has been hitting, and so has O'Neill. The Cardinals are ready to hit now. So I would put them all in my active roster because Paul DeJong, as miserable as this guy is, he's got a 5-game hitting streak right now. Plus, he's been hitting lately. He's been hitting home runs. So put him in, please. Let's see, 2 home runs in the month of July, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. He's batting .382. Can you believe that? Is that believable to you?
If Crystal Ball says it, I believe
Paul
it.
DeJong? No, that's what he's doing.
I
That's
know
not
he's
what
a good player.
Normally, he bats .220.
You think Zach Gallen is going to return to be a top quality pitcher?
I can't stand you. The 2 things I just want to finish saying about O'Neill and DeJong. O'Neill is much better with the batting average. Okay. DeJong is much better with the home runs, but O'Neill's been hitting pretty good with the home runs. I think he's got like 15 already this season. So you can't really choose DeJong over O'Neill if that was the choice, because DeJong is going to crush you in batting average, and O'Neill is going to hit for power.
What do you mean you can't choose? If I ask you to choose between the 2,
you can't choose
that's
DeJong.
the question.
You can't choose DeJong over
He's a shortstop.
O'Neill.
There are plenty of good outfielders. Shortstop.
There's
Scarcity
plenty of
of
good
positions.
shortstops. Don't mess around. There's plenty of good shortstops.
Will Zach Gallen return to be a top pitcher?
Well, he did yesterday. He allowed 1 run, 3 hits, 2 walks, struck out 7, 5 2/3 yesterday. I wasn't even expecting him back yet, but it's very much a pleasant surprise for Gallen, and I can't wait to move forward with him.
Okay. Will Trevor Story get traded? There are some reports that they're going to sit with him and they'll take the qualifying offer.
They can't keep up. They cannot. They have to trade him.
Okay.
Well, let me see. What's the choice? Is a qualifying offer if they don't trade him?
They give him a qualifying offer and they get a high draft pick.
Story is already mentioned out loud that he's not signing with the Rockies or is not even interested in staying with the Rockies.
He doesn't want. They're going to get a draft pick for him. He's not going to accept the offer.
Would you rather take a draft pick or an actual prospect?
It depends on. Well, that prospect may very well be draft pick.
Come on, man. Look, the whole league
I can't even do
could
this
use
anymore.
him. The whole league could use a guy like Trevor Story. No matter which team you are, you could use him.
Will Shohei Ohtani hit 61 home runs?
No, he won't. He just won't.
Will Cody Bellinger return to his glory days?
He's another problem child like Yelich. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him, okay? What is wrong with him? He went from striking out like 15% of the time, 17% of the time to 30. He's at 28. He's striking out 28% of the time. What the heck happened to Bellinger? I'm definitely not believing that he's coming back because I don't know what's wrong with him. I could tell you he's getting a little unlucky, but that is not enough to explain all this. His contact rate is down way big. His strikeout rate is double what it used to be. He's still walking every now and then, so I guess, but he's absolutely horrific. In the month of July, he's batting 104.
Oakland's got a trio of good young pitchers. Who would you rather have, Bassett, Manaea, or Montas?
The best pitcher here is Manaea, but I will take Bassett for the season probably. I'm not sure. These guys are like all three. If you look at these 3, when you go to Fangraphs, you compare them together. Again, I compared FIP, K per 9, ERA, walks, home runs, everything. I compared them all. They are like the same guy this year at least. And honestly, they aren't really that different from each other. But overall, the best pitcher on the list is Manaea, unless Chris Bassett is the best one for this year, though, is who I would take. And you saw what he did last year, right?
Yes.
Who would you choose between Bassett and Manaea?
Manaea.
Yeah, one of these 2 guys is good, but Bassett's the oldest of the 3, and Montas is the least experienced of the 3.
Which team?
Why do you give me the same pitcher 3 times?
Which team has a better chance of making the playoffs this year? San Francisco Giants or Seattle Mariners?
Both. Both teams are
I
going.
said which team? That means either one. Both is not an answer. You're supposed to be a genius, Crystal Ball.
I'm about to curse, so if you have any kids, go ahead and plug their ears. I'll give you 5
San
seconds
Francisco or
to plug
Seattle?
your kids' ears before I
Which
curse
team
Lenny
has a
out.
better chance of making the playoffs?
You're dumb. It's San Francisco. They're the ones that have a better chance. It's in plain as day that they have a better chance. They're leading the whole dang league in wins. Nobody can catch them. If they lose every game from here to the end of the season, they will probably still make the playoffs. Okay?
Two more for Crystal Ball. Will Fernando Tatis Jr. go in the injured list this season?
Yes, I believe he will, and I think that when it happens, it's going to be devastating.
Chris Gallo as our final question for Crystal Ball.
How about Joey Gallo? Joey Gallo.
Yeah, how about Joey Gallo? Who's Chris Gallo?
It's our friend in the chat room.
That's right, it's Chris Gallo. Well, Joey Gallo, he is not a free agent, even though he signed a 1-year contract. He has arbitration. A lot of talk about Texas trading him. Will Texas trade Joey Gallo?
You just already said what the answer is. It's no.
Will they trade Joey Gallo? There are a lot of teams that would like to have him. Will they trade him?
If the Padres take him, maybe. But that's it. I don't think
Crystal Ball.
think anybody else.
You're really getting on my nerves, Crystal Ball. We're gonna have to.
You're getting on my nerves.
I'm gonna
mute you, and then I'll just continue to talk about the stuff that we have on the list, the Nuggets.
Okay. Usually
we get a break so we could yell at each other in between commercials.
Yeah, right? What was the name of the other psychic that we brought on Sirius last week?
Well, it was something funny though. You said something funny.
Yeah, I forgot her name, but
it was Cristobal, and it was another lady. It was so good.
I forgot the name.
Okay, we'll move on. We have some Nuggets.
We're Nuggets. I don't have.
You don't have any Nuggets? Uh-oh, you just got kicked off. Hold on. Maybe we should be done. I should kick Lenny out for good. Hold on. Okay, you're back.
All right, and we're back.
I named you.
Wait a second. In Pittsburgh, it's going to be Bender to replace Rodriguez when he gets traded. Go ahead.
Howard Bender.
Go ahead.
When you join the stream, okay, you have to put your name in the thing, and then you join the stream, and I named you.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I named you something special.
What stream are you talking about?
The StreamYard. When you got kicked out of the studio just now, and I came down to help you get back in.
Okay.
I have to put your name in.
Brad Sports was guest Bobby, by the way. Thank you, Brad. Okay, moving right along. Let's finish up with some great stuff about the American League. By the way, Tim LaCastro, torn ACL. Those of you looking for saves, forget about it. And every team.
LaCastro isn't a closer.
He is a stolen base threat that people picked up thinking he was going to run for the Yankees.
Well, he's not going to get saves.
What are you talking about?
That's what you just said. If you need saves, you got to find it.
You need stolen bases. Everything appears to look good for Chris Sales. We're talking about the Yankees and Red Sox.
Better knock on wood.
3 scoreless innings. He struck out 5, pitching in the organization's Florida Complex League. Okay, so let's see what happens. The Red Sox are 22-10 against the American League East, 7-0 against the Yankees, They've won their last 8 games against the Yankees, so the Yankees really have some work to do.
The Yankees aren't doing it. They're not going to compete this year. They need to just accept the fact that they're going to be a losing team again.
Are you convinced that Garrett Cole is not using the sticky stuff now? He struck out 11. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 3-1. Game was called after 6 innings because of heavy rain. Sanchez and Torres back-to-back home runs.
I would trade Garrett Cole without question if I could. If I had him on a team, I would, because he just struck out 11, and he's going to have some rough patches, I think, because these guys were using the sticky stuff. It has affected him. No matter how you look at it, it's affected him in certain games. I'm not that confident going forward with Garrett Cole, but I've never been that confident in Garrett Cole. I probably don't like him anyway because I have some personal vendetta against him for being mean to Trevor Bauer. But whatever,
stop it. That was his
I'm
seventh
just being honest.
Against Trevor Bauer.
I have to be honest. Look, if I say I don't like a guy and I know that it's not really based on his pitching, it's mostly based on my idiotic personal opinion, then I will be happy to share that with people so they know.
Do you like me? Do you like me?
No, I don't like
not being honest. You see?
All right, I do.
There you go.
I do like you, Leonard.
7th double-digit strikeout game this season for Garrett Cole. That's only 3 weeks after he allowed 3 home runs to the Red Sox. And I know you mentioned Verdugo yelling at fans. He had to be restrained, by the way.
Well, he should, because that was very rude. First of all, that guy robbed a kid from a baseball. Okay, that's just ridiculous to do. This is why I used to hate Yankees fans. This is the perfect example of a Yankees fan acting like an asshole. You don't, when a player is throwing a ball at a young kid in the stands, the worst thing that you could do is intercept it. Okay, that's the worst thing you could do is take it from the kid and then throw it at somebody's back. I mean, I don't know. The Red Sox fans, the Yankees fans, they're pretty intense. But the Yankees, they don't mess around. They will throw beers out there on players. They will throw food. They will throw trash. They will throw anything they can. They will boo their pitchers off the mound. They will boo everybody. They will boo if they're not happy. I know. I don't know. I'm just going to be done with the Yankees and the Red Sox. I'm going to be a fan of a different team.
Come up with a different team. Burp? Seattle, that's your team.
Did you just burp?
No.
Okay, rude.
Since divisional play began back in 1969, Nate Eovaldi is the first Red Sox pitcher to throw at least 5 innings and allow either 1 or no earned runs in 7 consecutive starts against American League teams.
I'm very happy for Eovaldi, okay? I'm very happy for him. He finally is pitching well, and he's in the rotation where he belongs, where he was promised. But it's your pick in the draft, so who are you going to take? Let's do it together.
I'll tell you right now who I'm going to take. What draft is it? This is so confusing. We have 2 leagues. I can't figure out which league I'm drafting. And even if you tell me the league, there's...
Do you have any way of looking at the 2 drafts?
Yeah, I'm looking at them, but I don't know which one to look at. There should be a name. Lenny, round 3. I'm up now. Max Scherzer was just taken.
That was hard. That was worth all the complaining and crying.
So I'm going to take Walker Buehler. Okay?
That's not a good pick at all.
Oh, shut your hootenanny.
What is Walker Buehler doing so far this season? May I ask?
Yeah, you may ask, and I'm not telling you. Eovaldi had a no-hitter going into his 80th pitch. And then
actually, he's doing very well, better than I even thought.
Yes, he is, so pay attention.
121 innings, he's doing good.
Xander Bogaerts had a sore left wrist, held out of the lineup, but is expected to play today. Severino was scheduled to face hitters postponed during the rain. That didn't help him, okay?
Severino.
Yeah, all right.
What about Carrasco? Has he had a setback again yet? I'm waiting for him.
Not yet. Baltimore and Kansas City, we saw Ryan Mountcastle and Ramon Urias each had 2 RBIs. The Orioles ended a 5-game losing streak. Kansas City has been big disappointment. The Orioles, led by Eddie Heckman, 6 consecutive hits in a 5-run 3rd inning as they clobbered Brady Singer.
Guess what? Douglas is on today at 1:00. Douglas, the dugout. He'll be talking about some. He always talks about some waiver wire pickups and stuff. So we hang out in the chat room. If you guys, anybody listening wants to talk more baseball after us, if we have not completely filled up your cup.
Singer
But
gave up 7 earned runs. That's the most in a start in his career,
he
only
has a very
lasting
small
two. Let
career,
me
honey.
finish.
That's
He
stupid.
only lasted 2+ innings, 8 hits and a
Yeah.
walk. And
How long
Chris
is this?
Bubeck pitched 6 innings in relief, gave up just 1 run.
He's pitching 6 innings in relief, huh?
Yep.
That's
That's what
interesting.
happens.
Well, Singer has not had much of a career to be talking about yet, so he did give up 7 earned runs. I don't like Singer. Do you?
No, Wade Davis was activated from the 10-day injured list, and Matt Harvey goes today against Carlos Hernandez. Minnesota and Detroit played 2 in the first game. Robbie Grossman hit a leadoff homer.
I love Robbie Grossman.
4 Tiger pitchers, 2-hitter. Tigers win 1-0 over Minnesota. They were shut out. Minnesota now shut out for the 4th time this season. Okay, 4th
Big
time.
deal. So what? They're horrible. They have a
And
horrible record.
Charlie
players are
Barnes
out.
was called up, and he pitched 4 2/3 innings, a 4-hit ball in his
Who?
major league debut. Charlie Barnes. I talked about him on Friday. Okay, maybe you should listen to my podcast.
Bitch, I've listened to your podcast every day for the last 14 years of my life. Every day.
And here's one for you. Nomar Mazzara was designated for assignment.
I'm the only person that listened to your podcast every day. No, maybe not. Maybe I'm not. Maybe Zelmo did.
You're not the only one. Okay.
Okay.
Michael Fulmer is going to throw a bullpen session. Kenta Maeda goes against Tyler Alexander. Let me do the second game.
Okay.
Second game, bloop single by Cabrera. Jonathan Scope scored from first base. And the Twins, of course. Akil Baddoo hit a 3-run triple. What happened to him?
He is exactly the look, man. This guy was not a highly touted player. Okay, he was a Rule 5, wasn't he? Rule 5 guy? No, that was Mercedes.
Yeah,
he's Mercedes. He's just a Mercedes twins. You're mean Mercedes twin.
You think Josh Donaldson's going to get traded? He's got 14 home runs.
How are they going to trade Josh Donaldson? They have to pay him too much money. They cannot trade him. Why would they want to trade him? That's the other question.
To get him off, to get whatever he's making off the books. And don't forget, they may even have to contribute some money. The Mets could use him at third base. Washington could use him at third base. Come on, there are teams that need a third baseman. Josh Donaldson would be good for either the Mets or
defensively, because the Mets can't be getting another third baseman that
he's okay. He's
not a fit then for the Mets.
And we talked about Clase A. Blew his 3rd save in his last 3 appearances. Yep.
Yeah. So is he going to be the closer for long?
So do you think he's gone bad, or you think he just hit a rough spot?
All I know is that Karinchak is just a better.
Well,
maybe they're trying to showcase Emmanuel Clase to. I don't know. He's only
it's a bad showcase. In 4 games, he's allowed 5 runs, 7 hits, and 3 1/3 innings.
I know he's been horrible. Okay, but it hasn't really hurt his numbers. So people that just look at him, maybe you should try to pack him up and sell him off, because his ERA right now is 2.13 still, even though he's had just a horrible couple weeks.
Yeah, and he just gave up his first 2 home runs. Both
4 blown saves.
Both cost the Indians the lead. Go ahead. Now that you can talk,
that's
you
what
don't
happens
talk.
when you blow a save, you dummy. When you blow a save, you blow the lead. Okay, that's how it works. It doesn't matter. You will never blow a save and not blow the lead. Okay.
Franmil Reyes hit his 15th home run. Cal Quantrill,
I love Franmil.
5 effective innings. Cesar Hernandez, he's not stealing bases this year.
And he hits with a bad batting average, dude.
RBI double, 2 hits for Austin Hedges.
He still hits leadoff though, Caesar.
Here's the thing. The Reyes home run, 4th home run by the Indians cleanup hitter
Franmil.
this season. It was Franmil coming off the injured list on July 2nd.
They've only hit 4 home runs from the.
No, it was just Reyes, his 4th home run.
Well, he hasn't been playing that much because he's always hurt, you know.
Okay.
What happened to Franchi Cordero?
Nothing. 0. He's turned out to be. He's turned out to be a 0. Quantrill struck out 5 and walked. He allowed 1 run. Had a lot of traffic, a lot of base runners.
If
Didn't have a great game.
If he could get deep into games, which he did yesterday. He got pretty deep into a game, but 5 innings is all you can really ask for these days. If he can continue to do that on a regular basis, he could be a decent pitcher in fantasy. And, the Cleveland Indians are notorious for allowing their pitchers or training them to stay in games longer, later, more innings. Every Cleveland pitcher, year after year, the pitchers go deep into games, their rotation. But I hope that Quantrill being on the Indians is good for him, definitely. And if he can start to work up, because he was a starter, then he didn't have I think he was on San Diego. They didn't have room for him. They moved him over, sent him away. He couldn't be a starter there. Maybe it was Toronto, but I'm not sure of that. And then now that he's on Cleveland and all the pitchers are injured, Quantrill could be a decent pitcher if he works his way up and continues to get the innings. I like him.
We just talked about Frankie Montas, struck out 7 in 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits.
He's not reliable for the second half, this guy. Okay.
And guess what? Aaron Savali is throwing now.
I like
He's throwing up to 100 feet. Shane Bieber working with weighted balls.
What does that mean?
Did you ever work with weighted balls?
What is it, like a half a pound ball? Is that
I don't know.
How much weight are they?
I don't know how much they are.
What's the point of this?
What's the maximum weight of a ball that you ever work with?
Maybe 10-pound weights, but I don't know balls. Maybe bowling ball.
Yeah, that's right.
But in high school, I did do the in track and field, I did throw this one
shot put. You threw a shot put.
I threw a shot put. That's probably the heaviest ball.
Really did? And you kept it under your chin and you threw it?
I wasn't very good at it. But you know what?
But is that what you were taught? Keep it under your chin?
You might not even know this about me, okay?
Go ahead.
We had a game in school. It was called the Powder Puff game, where the cheerleaders or the women were football players, and the guys, the football players, dressed up as cheerleaders and were the cheerleaders for one game, and the women played football for one game. Powder Puff is what it was called.
Yes, I know. I'm familiar with it.
And my high school was, it was my junior high school. It wasn't going to be a junior high school anymore. It was actually changing, and this was the very last year that it was going to be the Powder Puff game. Guess what my job was on the team of the Powder Puff?
No clue. You were
I was the opening kickoff.
Get out of here.
I was the kicker.
Mm-hmm. Did you kick extra points and stuff?
I kicked it great.
Get out of here.
I don't know how it really went, but I felt good about it, so it must have been okay. Everybody cheered. Good.
Mark Conha activated off the injury list. He was out since June 25th, something like that.
I love Mark Conha. He's my friend.
That's why I said that. Chris Bassett's got a 10-game winning streak, longest by an Oakland pitcher since Mike Fiers won 12 straight.
I don't know, but Oakland has a chance, I think, of getting in.
Oh yeah, Oakland's a solid team. White Sox and the Astros. Lucas Giolito was determined to come out with vengeance after the All-Star break. Wants to be the pitcher that fantasy players thought he would be. 3-hitter. Abreu, 3-run homer. White Sox beat the Astros 10-1. Unbelievable. Tim Anderson, Zach Collins, Gavin Sheets, Jake Berger all went deep for the White Sox.
Do you know that Abreu, he loves being on the White Sox? He is way underrated as far as baseball goes in every realm of the word. I remember when the White Sox were bad, and I remember Lou Landers telling me one day that he gets 100 RBIs every year, and I was thinking to myself, that can't be, because this team never wins. How could he even be in a lineup this bad and get 100 RBIs? And sure enough, I go and look, and from that minute on, I was like, Abreu is way underrated. He's getting 100 RBIs no matter what kind of team, what kind of lineup. He's a clubhouse leader. This guy is always good. Nobody talks about him or gives him a lot of credit. He's shy, he's humble. He's just everything. He's a role model. Between him and Mancini and little Vladdy Jr., I just love baseball right now today. I don't like the owners and I don't like the commissioner, but I do love the players.
I don't like the radio hosts. And Tim Anderson had 3 hits. Jake Odorizzi, 4 runs, 6 hits, and 3 in the third. He came into the game with an ERA just over 1 in his previous 5 outings. He was absolutely lost in this game.
Oh, he was? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Sheets made it 6-0 with a 2-run homer. Okay,
Let me tell
Abreu
you.
hit a 16th homer. Let me finish.
Yeah, okay, sorry. You don't have to yell at me.
I have to.
Oh, put mute on.
Lance Lynn, $38 million 2-year contract extension.
Yes.
That's a good deal.
Yes. But I just
Now
wanted
you
to
may
say
talk. Go ahead.
that Framber Valdez is not pitching well too, and the Houston Astros are not pitching well, I guess, because if you say Odorizzi blew up, and I mean his ERA was really good going in, but Framber Valdez is not having a great time right now.
And he's pitching today against Carlos Rodon.
And I would suggest if you do have a choice, I mean, a lot of people don't have a great enough pitching staff that they could put Framber Valdez on the bench this week. But it was recommended in an article I read at The Athletic, and so I'm just passing that on because it did talk about Framber Valdez. Recent starts have not been very good. So check it out if you have them. Make the decisions accordingly. I'm not a fan of the Astros too much.
No,
but
really.
How can you not like the player? How can you not like Altuve? As a fantasy, I'm talking fantasy, okay? You can't play fantasy with your heart.
Zach
You have to play with
Greinke,
your head.
who had a shoulder soreness, looks like
Greinke.
he may start. He came out. Remember, 4 innings his last start, July 10th
That's
against the
another one.
Yankees. So
Another
he may be starting today.
He threw
And
a
then
bullpen session on
finally,
Friday.
our last game.
Hold on, Lenny.
Yes,
He's going to pitch tomorrow.
that's what I said. I said Monday.
Tomorrow.
I said Monday.
Go ahead.
David Fletcher,
Yes, he's great.
baseball's hottest hitter for more than a month.
No,
Hitting streak.
not
Who
the
is-
hottest hitter.
Hitting streak, 26 games. He had 3 doubles, 5. Do you think he should have been on the All-Star team?
The guy is not a fantasy relevant player, okay?
On the baseball All-Star team.
I'm surprised he didn't
In
get
the
on it.
All-Star game.
Yes, I do. At least as a reserve, I do. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
He plays every position. It's not,
Right?
this guy is a great baseball player, not a great fantasy guy, but
You're
he's a
right.
great baseball player in all the ways. So, yes, he should have been on, but you know how it worked. The fans vote. That's it. The fans either put you on there or not.
First Angel player to get 3 doubles since Mike Trout.
They don't have a great lineup, Leonard.
No, they don't. I'm sorry. They don't have a great lineup.
So the Mariners have a better chance of getting.
They don't have a great lineup, and that's with Ohtani, Rendon, Trout.
Ohtani does everything.
But they're supposed to have a great lineup.
Ohtani
Fletcher batted first. Ohtani batted second. Ohtani was 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts.
Dude, if you sent every Angels player home and just put Ohtani on the mound to pitch a couple innings, then go and hit because he scores all the runs, it's unbelievable what he's doing, really, if you think about it.
Ward hit his 8th home run. Somebody that I touted weeks ago. He got 3 hits, batting .239. Jared Walsh 0 for 5.
Jared Walsh is starting to cool down.
And Kikuchi got slobbered yesterday.
He's going to have a bad outing or two.
Yeah, 7 earned runs in 5 innings.
But right? The pitching in Seattle, they must not have been at home yesterday.
No, it was at L.A.
That's why it happened, because the Seattle Mariners are much better at home.
And finally, our last game. Whoa, interleague game. We're talking Tampa against the Braves. Peterson, 2-run homer, his first start with Atlanta. And I'm reading on Facebook people dropping Max Fried all over the place.
I traded him away.
And I'm laughing.
Why?
Well, Fried, he did have a 2-run double himself. Fried did not allow a base runner to reach second.
He shut down the Rays.
Oh, he is a good pitcher.
He's
right now, get a chance. Try to steal Max Fried.
Okay, Max Fried has not had a great season, though. Even though I do think he's a good pitcher, I don't know. He's been hurt, right? He's been on the injured list a couple of times.
No, not really. He just hasn't been himself.
He's got a blister. That was his last time that he went on.
All right.
Now, I traded him for Chris Taylor and someone else, but the main part of the trade was Keston Hiura.
Yes.
Now, this guy is going to hit home runs, right? I mean, that's a given with this kid. No? He's only got 4 on the season, but
Hiura?
Keston Hiura.
Yeah, I know. He's not doing anything. The changing of positions,
That is not something to blame. That's just an excuse. I'm
It
sick of
happened to
this.
Kingery. It happened to a lot of players,
What
youngsters
about?
who changed positions. They do not fulfill their potential.
I want to have a conversation about this for 5 minutes, okay, before we go.
With yourself,
The last 5
conversation.
minutes.
Go.
I
ahead.
want to make it very clear. When people try to say that a player cannot live up to his potential because they made him play a different position or they batted him in a different spot in the lineup, to me, that is an excuse, and it is not a valid one because there are
They concentrate on the new position and they fail to concentrate on their hitting. Wander Franco played second base yesterday. You'll see that's going to hurt him. Scott Kingery came up as a potential star. They started moving him around. Forget about it. Keston Hiura, they started moving him around. Forget about it.
Keston Hiura was striking out 30% of the time before he changed positions. And there's plenty of players that have been very successful when they've been asked to change a position. And if you can only think about your position
I'm going to lose my battery here in a second.
if you can only think about your position or your hitting, then you don't belong in professional baseball.
If my battery goes dead, say goodbye to everybody for me.
If you can't hit to the opposite field, you don't belong in you don't get paid $60 million a year or whatever it is. I know that's exaggerating. How about even $6 million a year? You shouldn't be getting paid that kind of money if you can't think of both your position and hit the ball. I'm sorry. It's not a good excuse to me. There's plenty of players that have done fine changing positions. Now, these youngsters, man, if they made them play everywhere right from the beginning, they wouldn't have this problem. But they baby them so much that they complain with just the littlest bit of change. They can't handle it. That's what happens when you treat these players like little ballerinas, princesses. Okay.
Trade Wander Franco. He started at second base. He's played shortstop and third base in his first 16 games. I'm telling you right now, trade him.
That's his problem, you're telling me. There's a lot of players that actually made it in the big leagues just because they are willing to play more than one position, okay, and good at it.
But you have no idea what it's like to get called up with all the hype, all the expectations.
Does it matter? It
does matter because you move from shortstop to third, from third to second. You're starting to concentrate on your defense, and you're not concentrating on your offense.
You're telling me that you have to concentrate differently when you play shortstop or third base.
It's not so easy.
What about if you move to an easier spot? So, like, let's say you move from third to
no
first.
Such thing as an easier. No such thing as easier.
First base is the easiest place in the
not anymore. It used to be where Mantle, Yastrzemski, Musial, when they couldn't move anymore.
Everybody goes there to end their career, Leonard.
Not anymore.
First of all, if you can't play first base, I'm just asking the question: what if you go from the hardest place to the easiest spot in the defensive realm? Does that matter? Or
why is first base so easy?
Well, because you don't need a lot of range because the second baseman is already standing really close to you. He usually gets the ball, and you're supposed to be covering first base mostly. It's easy for me because I'm a lefty, and I've always played first base.
Double
but how
play
about right field? Right field, I don't care where it is. Third base and shortstop are the hardest spots.
You obviously don't know anything about baseball. You don't know anything.
It's simple. Third base and shortstop. They call it the hot corner for a reason. Okay,
yeah, I know.
Third base, the hot corner. Why do they call it that? Because it's the hardest. That's where all the balls are hit very hard, and you have to have range and quickness to play there. You cannot be like Pablo Sandoval playing third base. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, maybe you're wrong.
I played softball, so maybe I'm out of my mind. But there has to be some positions that are much more difficult and needing more range and motion than other positions. And so if you could tell me one example of that and answer just the question, does it matter if you move a rookie from a hard place defensively?
Yes, I think it matters.
To an easier place.
They're not comfortable at the new spot. I don't care where it is.
That's just an excuse, and that is just encouraging weakness.
Learn a little bit about baseball.
How about this? If you can't hit the ball to the opposite field, then you don't deserve to play in baseball.
What are you talking about? Who said anything about that?
I'm just bringing it up because I don't think that any rookie that blames the position change. I mean, most people would be like, I'll play any position that you let me just to play in the majors. I will play any position and I will work 100% of my time to be good at it. And if I can't do it, then I don't deserve to be here. But
All right,
instead, it's
you
like,
have to do it. What's
oh,
happening? Do it.
woe
What's
is
happening?
me. I have to bat ninth and move from ninth, and now I have to move to sixth in the order. And I just can't stand that mentally, right? Like, what?
Time to
What
do
even
it. What's
matters?
happening? What's
When
happening?
you hit, I'm done. You're
Thanks to
what's happening.
Daniel Ferrara. Thanks to Chris Gallo, who was
People.
here. Doug Boyle, Jay Stubbs, Laura DiChiara, Malpal, Matt Hooper, Southpaw, Star
And
Dog,
Tina, too. Say hi to Tina.
and Malpal. Everybody was here. Thank you so. By the way, Freddie Freeman, 21st home run.
And Eddie, what? Freddie Freeman. Thank goodness Freddie Freeman is coming around. You know, I picked him in the first round a couple weeks.
Trade Wander Franco.
What to do with Freddie Freeman at the beginning of the year when he was batting 180, like the Mendoza line for him?
There should be a new
I'm
name.
so happy for
Drew
Freeman.
Smiley going against Rich Hill today.
I love Freddie Freeman.
Thanks everybody for supporting us on this the Legend and the Roto Lady show.
Wilmer
And
Flores.
would you stop it? We'll be back again next week, and now I gotta go face the music. See you later.
Sit outside in your area for the day? That's what you do.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
Okay. Enjoy your day. And
Thanks.
Douglas, he'll be on at 1:00 today.
Thank you.
See you next week.